Hello, everyone, and welcome into Coach Craig Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for Wednesday, April 9th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We go over my core picks. It's going to be one pitcher, four hitters. That's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. It's only a 5-game slate, so feel free to mix and match as you do see fit. You don't necessarily have to play all 5 of these players together, but, 5-game main slate, probably a little bit better odds that you will get to a good amount of these in the same lineup at the same time as well. Then after that, we'll be moving over to my cheat sheet and talking about my top GPP teams to stack for the slate overall. And then last but not least, in the morning, I will be posting a weather report that will have all the games that do have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And I do apologize as I did not do that for Tuesday's video. Kind of just slipped my mind. A lot of things going on Tuesday, but we'll definitely have that out right away in the morning. But without further ado, we'll get right into it with our core picks for Wednesday. So we're going to start off at the pitcher position with Joe Ryan of the Minnesota Twins, $9,300. He's averaging about 24 fantasy points per game so far on this season. Goes against the Kansas City Royals. He has some pretty good history versus this Kansas City team. In 2024, he had 2 starts against them, 55 and 28 points. So obviously there is some high upside to be had there. Unfortunately, he has not had a win so far on the season. 4.5 ERA, once again averaging about 24 fantasy points, but definitely do like that high-end upside out of him once again. And for whatever reason, it seems like these Twins starting pitchers are a little bit slower to the year, which kind of seems to be a constant theme for them over the last couple seasons, but definitely do like Joe Ryan and his potential upside in this matchup versus the Kansas City Royals. Then we're going to move down to first base with Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves. If we're talking about guys and teams off to a slow start, the Atlanta Braves hitters across the board have been really slow, but Matt Olson coming alive a little bit as of late. He is 3 for 11 in his career versus Taijuan Walker, the expected starting pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's on a modest 4-game hitting streak as we do speak. 1 multi a game during that time span, 1 home run, and does have 2 double-digit performances. So like the upside of Matt Olson, obviously there's a little bit of risk, but at $3,300, willing to take that risk. He's averaging about 10 fantasy points per game on the season. 233 average, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, obviously starting to come alive a little bit more as of late. And then we move down to third base with Ryan McMahon of the Colorado Rockies. So typically, we're not playing Ryan McMahon versus a lot of lefties. So the expected starting pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers is going to be Tyler Alexander, a lefty in his own right. McMahon, probably not a guy we're playing against too many lefties, as I already did mention. But in his career versus Tyler Alexander, 2 for 5 with 2 home runs, doing pretty good as of late as he is on a modest 4-game hitting streak. And during that time span, he has 1 multi a game, 1 home run, 1 double-digit performance. So obviously there is a little bit downside there at the same time as well. But $3,200, respectable price tag once you factor in that Coors Field boost. 265 average, 1 home run, 3 RBIs. A little bit slower start to the season, averaging just under 7 fantasy points per game. But definitely do like his upside in a matchup versus Tyler Alexander, who he's hit well against in the past, who's probably not going to go too deep into that game in Coors Field, going against the Brewers bullpen as well as Tyler Alexander as that expected starter. A lot of ways that this could go right for Ryan McMahon just in general. Then we're going to move down to our lone outfielder for the day. It's going to be Michael Harris of the Atlanta Braves. He's $2,800. As I mentioned, the Atlanta Braves hitters have been off to a really slow start to the season, but he is 4 for 5 with 2 home runs in his career versus Taijuan Walker, the expected starting pitcher for that Philadelphia Phillies team. He's on a modest 3-game hit streak, 1 multi-hit game during that time span, 0 home runs, 1 double-digit performance, but 2 games that did have at least 9 fantasy points. So at least a solid safe floor there at $2,800. 242 average on the season, 1 home run, 1 RBI. So hasn't done too much, averaging just over 6 fantasy points per game, but definitely do like the upside of this Atlanta Braves team, including Michael Harris versus Taijuan Walker. And the Braves slowly but surely are starting to turn it around. Then we move down to our final hitter, which is actually going to be another third baseman. I have him in the utility spot here. Obviously, I don't like typically doing this in terms of the core picks, but I think both these third basemen did warrant a lot of consideration just in general. So it's Rafael Devers, $3,700. He's averaging around 12 fantasy points per game, and obviously that's very notable because he was off to like a slow, disastrous start to the season, one of the worst that we've seen in a very long time. But as of late, he's come alive in a pretty big way. If we look at what he's done in his career versus the expected starting pitcher Kevin Gausman, he is 9 for 30 with 1 home run versus him. He has at least 1 hit in 5 out of his last 6 games, 3 multi-hit games during that time span. Only 1 home run though, but does have 5 double-digit performances. So I'll take a reduced price tag on Rafael Devers at $3,700. Good matchup versus Kevin Gausman. And the upside there as of late, obviously, like I said, very, very slow start to the season, but has really, really turned on the Jets as of late. 244 average, 1 home run, 9 RBIs. Once again, averaging right around like 12 fantasy points per game at $3,700. Definitely do like the upside that he could have in this matchup just in general. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $12,700 remaining, just under $3,200 remaining per player. So a decent amount of money you're left over. You know, if you want to pay up for a couple guys, you could probably do it, as well as paying down for some different options. There's a lot of interesting players out there for today's slate just in general. I think there's going to be some decent value, especially as we do get those starting lineups coming out. But going to make for a very interesting 5-game slate. Definitely feel free to mix and match as you do see fit. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for this small 5-game slate. So the 3 teams that I do have here for this slate are going to be the Atlanta Braves going against Taijuan Walker. A lot of their hitters have hit him really well in the past. Brian De La Cruz is another one that has really, really good history versus him, although it's been a really disastrous start to the season for him as well. Then we got the Colorado Rockies going against Tyler Alexander. Obviously, Ryan McMahon's going to be a big one there. Brenton Doyle, Michael Toglia, definitely some guys that have good history versus him as well. And then for that Milwaukee Brewers team going against Antonio Senzatella, not striking anybody out at this point in time. He's a guy that's going to walk some guys here and there. Coors Field effect going to be a very good spot for this Milwaukee Brewers team. Obviously, some guys that do have decent history versus him in the past, although it is a little bit smaller sample size, but definitely do like stacking that Coors Field game, and I think that's going to be pretty popular just in general. So maybe feel free to mix and match in terms of like your starting pitcher, maybe playing somebody that's a little less projected in terms of ownership, or kind of getting on the leverage play just in general. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP teams to stack for Wednesday, April 9th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Once again, in the morning, I'll be listing my weather report, which will have all the games that are double-digit chance of rain or higher. If there's any updates to my core throughout the day, I will leave them as a pinned comment, as well as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely a look out for all that. Going to make for a very, very interesting 5-game slate just in general. But with that being said, if you were brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have the MLB DFS Core Pick video Monday through Friday. I also have my UFL DFS video coming out once a week, and typically that will either be on Tuesday or Wednesday. It looks like it's going to be Wednesday once again this week, just because I'm waiting on some of the snap count information to come out from week number 2. And then I will also be posting some NFL draft content here and there as we do lead up to the actual NFL draft. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you're a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's a 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's a 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for Wednesday, April 9th.